Good evening. Thank you very much for the opportunity to come and talk to you. This is going to tie in very much with what you've just heard about people being very different, people being able to do lots of amazing things. And my particular specialism is values, which is the why behind the what that we actually choose to do. Now, this world of ours is alive with opportunities and alive with risks. Sometimes it's quite easy to figure out what the best next step might be, and if not taking that one, what the consequences might be. Sometimes it's not so easy, because we're actually bombarded with information. Too much information to process. So inside our minds, we have gates, if you like. Some things get through, and some things don't get through. And we have a system for actually evaluating that. Even when stuff gets through, it might not mean the same to me as to you. So the sigh from the back of the car from the one person who said, why couldn't we have gone and seen fast penguins? So we evaluate information. Now, whether you happen to be an adrenaline-seeking risk-taker or I happen to be a more kind of pragmatic, danger-averse kind of person, we're using the same basic process to evaluate our options. And that process is in our unconscious mind. I hate these kinds of headlines. I really do. Because actually, values are talked a lot by people who know nothing about it, and we could all benefit from understanding better how our values are driving our choices. Our minds are like icebergs. Tell me something about icebergs. I bet you know something. They're cold. They're seriously cool. They're seriously cool. Most of them are underneath the water, and that's kind of like our minds, because 90%, over 90% of an iceberg is underneath the water, and 97% of the processing power of your mind is in your unconscious, where most of the time you don't even realize that you're using it. So, we have this unconscious mind, and that's where our values and our beliefs sit. The things that you believe, you're highly certain about, drive you to value certain things, and then you do things. You take actions and you adopt dispositions. You show an attitude towards something. So we've got the brain in two basic structures. We've got an old brain, which is really quite primitive, so it goes back to the nurture side, and that's where your values are sitting, in that kind of yellow region there. They're in the limbic system, and they don't have any vocabulary. This gives us lots of questions. If I say to you, put your hand up if you value your health, how many hands are going to go up? Lots of hands, fantastic. Now, if it is true that you actually value your health, that means that you will do certain things to prioritize it. You will moderate your intake of things that you know are not good for you. You will moderate your intake of maybe alcohol, substances we might not want to mention for fear of being arrested. You will get good sleep hygiene. You will do aerobic exercise at least 3 times a week for 20 minutes. Maybe a lot of hands will go down at this point. We prefer to be healthy, but we don't necessarily prioritize it. Sometimes it's easier to prioritize it for others. The battles I had with my daughter to make her wear her cap in the sunshine and her sunsuit, but it was still worth it. Connection with your priority values will buffer you from stress. It will make you more resilient if you're connected to what really matters to you as a person. So it's worth doing for that. It's also worth doing because your values, your priority values, are in those things that make your heart sing. The things that make you feel like you could just go on forever. Food, water, doesn't matter because the moment is so utterly glorious. So your happiness comes from your values. Values are hard to work with because they're in the unconscious, but the good news is you can get hold of them if you do things to actually surface those ideas that carry energy for you as a person. So one of the things we use them for is to evaluate our decisions. So if I see myself as a person who really likes having some fun, especially midweek, when the opportunity to go to Ignite comes across my desk, of course I'm going to say yes. But if I see myself as a person who needs to stay in all through the week because I need to do a good job at work, then I'm not going to seize that opportunity. So how I see myself actually fuels what I do. And fuel is important because if you are running your engine on a diet of limiting beliefs and fear-based assumptions about how the world works, it's going to poison what you do. Even if you're only going to get out of bed for ice cream, it's worth knowing what you get out of bed for. And if you take away one thing from this evening, let it be this. Know inside you there is a deep, valuable crystal that is unique, your sense of self and your values. If you decide to mine and shine that, the people around you are better prepared to be dazzled. Thank you.